The Gothic Architecture. The Gothic style started in France from the 1150s and spread across the whole of Europe. In the 1450s, the Renaissance architects were the new vogue. They started to build a new style of architecture and described Gothic architecture as old-fashioned because it was exaggerated, daring, and uncivilized. The Renaissance style was classical and symmetrical. Renaissance architects expressed their disdain and named those buildings as Gothic architecture. The choice of Gothic because was a pejorative term excellent to demonstrate their disgust for an architectural style. The Gothic architecture was initiated in Italy in the 12th century. They are divided in three phases: Early Gothic phase, 1228 to 1290, Mature Gothic from 1290 to 1385, and the Late Gothic phase from 1385 to the 16th century. Characteristics of the Gothic architecture. There are 7 characteristics found in Gothic buildings. They are grand, tall designs with height and grandeur, the flying buttress, the pointed arches, the vaulted ceilings, the light and airy interior, the gargoyles of Gothic architecture, and the emphasis upon the decorative style and the ornate. An example of Gothic architecture is this gargoyle used as a rain gutter in one of the architectures found in Munich. Several important cathedrals with Gothic style are the Notre Dame Cathedral. The Notre Dame is a great example of French Gothic architecture, sculpture, and stained glass. It is located in Paris. Its construction began in 1163 and it was completed around 1345. In the 1790s, during the French Revolution, many of its sculptures and treasures were damaged or destroyed. It was the location of the crowning of Napoleon Bonaparte as emperor on December 2nd, 1804. York Minster Cathedral. Building was begun in about 1230 and completed in 1472. It is one of the 2 largest Gothic cathedrals in Northern Europe. It incorporates all the major stages of Gothic architectural development in England. One of its best features is the Great East Window, which is inside the cathedral, and it is the large expanse of medieval stained glass in the world. The Burgos Cathedral. The Burgos Cathedral is in Burgos. It has been dedicated to the Virgin Mary. Its vast size and unique Gothic architecture made it famous. Construction began in 1221 and after almost 2 centuries, it was completed in 1567. In 1919, the cathedral became the burial place of Rodrigo Díaz de Vivar and his wife Doña Jimena. Santa Maria del Fiore Cathedral. The Basilica di Santa Maria del Fiore is Florence's beautiful cathedral and symbol of the city, began its construction in 1296 and completed in 1436. The basilica is one of Italy's largest churches. The exterior of the basilica is faced with polychrome marble panels in various shades of green, pink, bordered by white. It has the largest brick dome ever constructed. Seville Cathedral. It is still the largest Gothic cathedral and the 3rd largest church in the world. Built on the site of Grand Almohad Mosque after the Reconquista, it was completed in the 16th century and it supplanted the Hagia Sophia as the largest cathedral in the world. Some columns and elements from the mosque, most famously the Giralda, a minaret converted into a bell tower, were used during its reconstruction. St. Stephen's Cathedral. St. Stephen's Cathedral is situated at the heart of Vienna. It is a symbol of the city's freedom. It stands on the ruins of 2 earlier churches and was largely initiated by Rudolph IV, which was the Duke of Austria in the 14th century. Its most recognizable characteristic is the diamond-patterned tile roof added in 1952. The Reims Cathedral. Reims Cathedral was a church in which numerous French monarchs were officially crowned. It was built on the site of the basilica where Clovis was baptized by Saint Remy, Bishop of Reims, in AD 496. The cathedral was completed by the end of the 13th century with the west front added in the 14th century. Milan Cathedral. It is one of the largest Gothic cathedrals in the world, an exceptionally large and elaborate Gothic cathedral on the main square of Milan. The Duomo di Milano is one of the most famous buildings in Europe. Construction began in 1386 under Archbishop Antonio da Saluzzo, and it took 5 centuries to complete the famous cathedral. Cologne Cathedral. Germany's most famous landmark for centuries. Cologne Cathedral was once the tallest building in the world, and it still has the largest facade anywhere. The famous cathedral stands on the site of a 4th century Roman temple, followed by a church commissioned by Maternus, the first Christian bishop of Cologne. Construction began in 1248 with interruptions, and it took more than 600 years to complete. It is dedicated to the saints Peter and Mary, and it is the seat of the Catholic Archbishop of Cologne. The Chartres Cathedral. It is located in the town of Chartres, near Paris. It is almost perfectly preserved. The majority of the original stained glass windows survive intact, while the architecture has only seen minor changes since the early 13th century.